Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about light. Well, could make lots and lots of videos talking about light, but I'm just going to say a few things because living in the light or wishing people love and light is a very popular concept when we are dealing with spiritual matters. And so many people do use that phrase, love and light, when they close their emails. So we kind of need to take on board, well, why are we saying that? What's the concept? Why do so many spiritual traditions talk about the light? If you know anything about my work, if you looked at anything on the website, you will know that I teach something called the Schaefer method. And for quite a few years now, I've been teaching people how to use the characters in a celestial alphabet in order to give healing, and I call it Schaefer healing. So the Hebrew word Schaefer is translated as everflow, and it's pretty much the same as the word ki or chi in Chinese and Oriental medicine or energy medicine like Reiki. So Schaefer tells us about the life force, the power, the sustenance. Sometimes it's translated as divine abundance or divine blessings. So it's the flow that moves through all creation and gives it a sense of vitality and energy. Now, sometimes the word Schaefer is substituted by the word or, which is Hebrew for light. So certainly in that mystical tradition, the power, the energy that's moving through creation is light. So Schaefer or either will do. You're talking about the same energy. So why is the energy described as being light? Well, if we go back to the old creation stories, we find, in the biblical story, but also in other traditions as well, the concept that there was a void. There was no thing at all. Not light, not dark. And then something occurs, some creative impulse happens, and the light and the dark reveal themselves as two complementary, but sometimes opposing opportunities for creativity. If you think of the Taoist symbol, where you've got the light and the dark side, and the light has a dot of dark, and the dark has a dot of light in it, then you kind of get that concept of the whole being a unified field, but within that field, there are these options, these opportunities, contrary or complementary, sometimes opposing each other. And at that point, you get just a completely powerful opportunity for lots of interchanges, which can go in one direction or another. You can have daytime, you can have darkness at nighttime, you can have different aspects to life, including new life and death. So one comes in with the light, one goes out with the darkness. You can have a sunrise and the sunset. So in order to have something creative going on, you do need those polarities. You do need the opportunity for darkness and light. So why do we always say love and light? Because we prefer the things that are light, because we prefer the sunrise coming up, we prefer new life, new birth, to death. And yet part of us needs to acknowledge that that's a part of a whole picture, a holistic approach. But there's something else about light as well in the mystical traditions. And that is the idea that the light is a kind of limitless energy force, and it's kind of embeds itself in creation. And without light in the first place, you wouldn't get absence of light, you wouldn't get darkness. So if you think of the material world and the way scientists have gradually come to kind of take it apart, splitting the atom, and then discovering the immense amount of light, energy, heat, which is released when the atom is split, then we start to understand, yes, our material world is actually based on a pure energetic force field that, when released, is light. So if we look at the spiritual domain of what happens for us as individuals, there is something else going on in our own physiology, right? So think about it. If every atom in your body, every atom of every cell in your body is full of light, then actually your body is full of light. And this takes me to a saying of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, where he says, if your eye be single, then your whole body will be full of light. And by that, I believe he means that if you see the world in its true reality, and your eye is uncomplicated, it's single, it's focused, it may actually be talking about the third eye, of course, but that's another story to go into. But let's think about, how can your body be full of light? Well, potentially it is full of light. And the mystical experiences that people have across the ages have often described sensations of being full of light, and the body blazing, or the body being transfigured in some way, so that it reveals to the mystic inwardly what the light is. And sometimes people watching the mystic will see that person's light, as in the transfiguration of Jesus. So if that is a spiritual goal, to realize that the light is within you, then no wonder we want to suggest to people, we want to say at the end of our emails, wishing you love and light. But it's a big step, it's a big spiritual step to know that light. Sometimes it takes people many years, sometimes it's unexpected. But when a person realizes that light is in them, then they move into a different way of experiencing their everyday life. They move into a way of understanding that what we call life and death are actually kind of meaningless, because the light is limitless and the light is everlasting and the light is eternal. So, at this point, I think I should wish you love and light, because the light is loving. The light carries beauty, truth, grace, joy, perpetual blessings, and nothing in this everyday world can take away from that. Love is stronger than death, and love is light. The divine energy is light. So many blessings, and keep shining. Allow your light to shine in the world.